Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of your favorite podcast, guys. And in today's episode, I want to answer a burning question that a lot of people ask me, which is, what do I need to be successful online? Well, let me move a little bit here. What are the skills that are required for me to be successful? I get asked this question many, many times, and I'm going to give you some pointers here. And it's probably not going to be what you think, okay? So anyway, so let's get started. So I get a lot of people, again, who ask me this stuff. And I will tell you, sometimes when you give this answer to people, they might think like, oh, well, you're a scammer, why ask you or something, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing, I've seen some really interesting interviews recently, and one especially of Roger Federer, who's like my idol. Like, I really love Roger. And he basically said stuff that I've always told people, and I think it's very important that you guys know. So when we think about skills, what do we think about? So you think about, well, I know how to code. I know how, copywriting. I know, sales techniques and stuff like that. These are skills. These are the skills that you will put on your resume, that you can do PowerPoints and stuff like this. But this is very, how do you say, it's a narrow-sided, I guess. I don't know if that's the proper term. Because skills, there are things that are skills, but people just don't know they're skills, or they just put them in some other category, okay? And I basically want to touch base on this, because these are the ones that I think actually give you the success. So, first, for example, I'm going to go in not particular order. There's one that I put first because it matters to me a lot, is having principles is a skill. People, you don't realize the number of people who do not have principles, okay? Well, everybody has principles until they have to apply to themselves, and all of a sudden there are some exceptions. So having principles is a skill, because principles are basically going to give you a kind of like a framework, a sense of direction, and it's going to take you somewhere, and you can build trust, and people know where they stand and kind of like what's going to happen, right? My life is based on principles as much as humanly possible. I try to make sure that the principle applies to me and to others, especially to me. My problem is, a lot of people, the principles apply to everybody else except them. I don't necessarily like this. So having principles, for example, is a massive skill. All right. This is not something that a lot of people have. And if I find someone who has principles, I just had an experience with someone who has principles, that he could have made money, but because of the principle, he said no. Fantastic. So that's one thing. Second thing is this, information is very abundant right now. A lot of us, because I was going to say all of us, but it's not true. There are a lot of people who do not have access to the information. But a lot of people have access to the information. Now, the desire to learn and go process that information is rare. It is very rare, because it takes time, right? And you'd rather be watching a series on Netflix or something. So just having that hunger for knowledge and stuff, this is a skill. It's a massive skill. I don't care about your PHP skills. I don't care about your copywriting skills and stuff. If you have this, you're going to be better than whoever has those skills, because you are going to get better every single day, okay? So the desire to learn is one. Now, some other skills that I look in people is the ability to think, thinking. Yeah, you might think like, well, everybody thinks. Well, sometimes I'm like, did you think this through? Okay. People don't take the time to think. Even sometimes taking 2 seconds to think will make a big difference. Okay. So the ability to think and to question things, not for the sake of questioning, right? It's like, okay, I get this information. Does it make sense? Is it true? Yes or no? Let me process it into a very simple rule, right? So many people don't do this. And if you do this, you are miles away from, the herd, and you can get pounds of gold and stuff. And, it has nothing to do with PHP, it has nothing to do with Python, it has nothing to do, it's just think, okay? Get some information, process it, oh, well, look, that doesn't really make sense, okay? And you'll be surprised how many people don't take the time to do this, okay? Then I will say, I'm basically going through the journey as an entrepreneur. Now, the ability to believe in yourself, it's a skill. Because here's the thing, if you don't believe in yourself, you never start. You don't, all right? So tell me how this is not a skill. So many people have never started anything because they just assume, oh, well, I cannot do it, blah, blah, blah. They don't start. So, of course, they're not successful. So it is a skill to be able to believe in yourself, okay? You might be like, oh, wow, I've never seen it this way. Yes, it is a skill. And it's more valuable than anything else because without this, you don't get started, okay? Then optimism. Optimism is a skill, my friend. Like, there's this quote, I think it was Steve Jobs who said that. He said, the only people who are able to change the world are those who were crazy enough to think that they could do it or something. No, don't quote, it's not the exact quote, but that's the thing. You have to be optimistic about stuff. Like, for example, I'm starting a project. I'm thinking of all the way and all the reasons why it could work. I talk to someone else, they give me all the reasons why it wouldn't work. Oh no, it won't work because XYZ. And I'm like, what? And that's the reason why you don't start anything, right? So trust me, optimism, looking at, okay, these are the reasons why it will work. It's a freaking skill. You need to have this, okay? And again, think about it. Like, take a second to think about it. If you don't believe in yourself, guess what? You don't start, right? If you start, but you are pessimistic, oh man, then you stop. You never start. So these are skills, okay? Now, another skill is, so you start this adventure there, and do this like patience, right? Patience is such a skill. Like, I didn't realize this before, but like, so for example, when I was younger and I was fast and I could jump, very high and stuff, I was playing basketball. And I realized that I wasn't a good player because I was impulsive, I was blah, blah. And just looking at veterans, you can see that they have this patience. They look at the game and they take the time to process and blah, and they make good decisions. And it's the same thing in business. Like, so I'm thinking about patience in that don't rush things and stuff, but also patience in terms of your expectations and the results and stuff, and understanding that compounding, the laws of compounding. So it might look like nothing is moving. Like the curve usually for anything is, so there is a point you don't know anything, okay? And so now you learn a little bit, you go up, okay? And then there's a point where it will become flat like this for a long time. And you think nothing is happening. It's just compounding, doing this stuff. And at some point, it will shoot up, okay? And having the patience to go through that, it's a skill. Because guess what? Those people who don't have this patience, bam, they're out. And where is success? Not there, okay? Patience is a skill, all right? Another one is pragmatism. Being pragmatic about stuff is, like putting things in the grand scheme of things, for example, I was telling you the things about views and stuff. I'm very pragmatic about it. I'm like, 100,000 views is nice, but 50 people watch my stuff is better than 0, right? And it's 50 people who, if you're watching this content, thank you very much, like being very pragmatic about stuff and not necessarily falling in love with your idea and stuff like that, but being able to look at, from a pragmatic point of view, okay, well, you know what, that seems like a better option. Someone else's option that was suggested looks like a better option, okay? Be pragmatic. It's a skill. Like, honestly, it's a skill. Now, there is another one, discipline. Discipline is, guys, I told you, the people who make it are not necessarily the smartest, right? These are the people who have the discipline. So there are two types of disciplines, I'll say. There is, so me, I'll like the second one better. But there is a type of discipline which is let's say you can follow orders, right? Someone says, okay, we have to do this, blah, 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 and you follow the plan, you follow the blah, blah, blah. It's discipline. Now, there's another type of discipline, which is nobody asks you to do anything. You will get off your ass, you will motivate yourself, and you will go out and do it, right? This is the ultimate discipline. And, for example, when I was at university, we had no obligations of going to class, okay? None. And so I have so much respect for people who were able to finish. I had a 5-year degree. Some people were able to motivate themselves by themselves for 5 years and to come out of there with a degree. For me, it tells me they have that discipline, that number 2. Okay? So that is a skill. Now, discipline, you have to do stuff even if it sucks, even if it doesn't work, the hurdles and stuff, and that is perseverance. It's grit. It's a skill. It's a skill. For example, I don't know if you follow football. I don't necessarily follow football that much, but like the Real Madrid, the last couple of years, they win in the very, very last seconds. And you know what? Because they kept playing until the bitter end. All right? They kept playing. I've seen players, right? If you're down 2, even if it's 5 minutes into the game, shoulders go like this, they stop playing, right? Grit and perseverance. This is at the finish line, it makes the difference. So that is a skill, right? Now, obviously, problem solving, guys. Problem solving it's huge. You are paid to solve problems, right? If you have a problem solving skills, if you have those skills, you will unlock everything, right? Learn how to fix problems, okay? It's a huge skill. What we do in business is just this. We solve problems every day. Every time you sell a product, this product solves someone else's problem, okay? Problem solving. Now, honesty. So honesty with other people and honesty with yourself, okay? Honesty with other people is, for me, doing business with an honest person is a lot more, it protects me a lot more than the most bulletproof contract. Because the contract only tells me what's going to happen when you're going to screw me over. Where dealing with an honest person, this is how doors open, how you hear about the good businesses and stuff, okay? So be honest with other people. Be honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself, it helps so much in terms of growth, right? You're like, well, I'm not good at this stuff. You have to admit this stuff. Because now when you're good, you're honest with yourself, then you can learn how to let go of your ego. And that is a massive skill. You're not going to take things personally. You're not going to, get stuck in your ways just because, well, it's me. You don't have to do this. Okay? These are skills. Now, there's another skill that I think is the most important out of them all. I have here on the list, but just be yourself, my friend, and being yourself. If you're good at being yourself, you won't care about Bob who's doing this and Susan who's doing that, and they seem to have the high life and stuff that will ruin your life because you think that you're sucked. Be yourself. It is a skill. You don't know how many people are trying to live somebody else's life and it's ruining their life. Okay, be yourself. Now, 2 more that I want to give you before this thing ends is logic. I think I said it at the beginning. You just apply some logic. I think staying calm, even in really, really hectic and panic situations where everybody's running like headless chickens, right? And you take the time to think through the situation and find solutions. Staying calm, that will avoid stupid fights and stuff. I mean, there's so many things. I see people get involved in fights and people die. They get stabbed and stuff just because they're their blood is boiling and stuff. And, you will learn not to say things that you will regret. So these are skills, okay, blah, blah. But think again, these are skills. And these are skills that you need. So you have some of these skills. And because you might be like, oh, no, I don't have any skills, blah, blah, blah. I think you do. Okay? Well, that is pretty much it because this video is a little bit long. I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.